Hey guys, welcome back to No Kitchen Name. It's me, Ella. I had a market yesterday, so this is my market recap. Alright, let's hop into it. So I had a market yesterday. It was called the Summer Vibes Market. It was at a community center in the city next to me. And that community center has like a pickleball / tennis court outside of it. Across the street was like football fields for a school that was right beside it, and they were doing like football stuff. And it has a community pool, so there's a lot of people there. There were supposed to be like 27 vendors. I don't know if there were. I didn't get them, count them all, but there were a pretty good amount. There was, we were inside with a bunch of them, and there was just a few outside. The ones outside were mostly food vendors. But yeah, so it was a pretty good day. There was a threat of storms, but it just kept missing us. Luckily, it was like doing it all the way around us, but not where we were at. So it never rained or anything on where we were at. And there was kind of a steady flow all day. There were some lulls where it kind of died down and nobody came. But I still made some money, so yeah, it was alright. So let's hop into it, and I'll explain, tell you everything that's sold and all that stuff. So let's get into the numbers, because that's what people are always interested in. First of all, I did pay a $50 booth fee to be at this, but I paid it a month ago. So it was in a month ago's expenses. So that does not come out of these expenses. But yeah, so I was looking through it. So it was a 7-hour market. It was from 10 to 5. It was hosted by a lady who owns a bakery, and she does markets as well. She didn't do this market obviously because she was hosting it. She was really nice. I really like her a lot. So we had between 7 and 10 to set up. We got there at like 7 something, between 7 and 8, like 7:30 and 8. And we set up. We were on an end of a row, so I was always like being on the ends because it gives you more table space facing out than being in the middle of the rows. It's a lot harder to set up a booth that way, I think. I set up my tables. It's pretty easy. I did post a reel about that. I'm trying to get better at doing that. And I also insert the clip here at some point. I might have already done that. I always forget to take after videos. Because by the time the market ends, I'm ready to like pack up and leave, But yeah, so in the total purchase amount that I sold 20 items, which I thought was a nice rounded number. And it was a total of $329. Technically it was $327, but my very first sale was to a lady who crochets also, and she got a dragon for $18, one of the bigger sizes I've been making. And she told me keeps change. She said she knows how hard it is to like make these things, so she wanted me to keep change. So I got a $2 tip, and that's the first time I think that's ever happened to me. I don't remember really if that's happened before, but it was real exciting. So I technically sold $327 worth of things, but I got that $2 tip. So between 10 and 11, I sold a dragon, and it is the DDX pattern that I've been making a bajillion of them in the last like year. Sold it for 18. It was made with that new Stash Goals yarn, so it was bigger than the Perfect Chunky ones that I usually sell for 16. And then I had 2 more the Mothman made, and the people who purchased a Mothman from me at my last market, and then they contacted me through Instagram and purchased another Mothman, and then that bigger one I made last week, I showed in my No Kitchen Name episode. They purchased those. I dropped them off to them. We met, at Walmart parking lot for a birthday party, and then they contacted me again. He asked if I had any more Mothman. He works with college kids, and he said when they saw them, they freaked out and they loved them. So he wanted 2 more Mothman and some business cards, I guess, to give to those kids. So he came. I already had them made. Luckily, I just happened to have 2 on hand. So he came to the market early that morning, right after we set up, and he got those Mothmen, and he asked if I could make a horse. His wife wants a horse, so I did write that down. I wrote horse for JD, because his name is JD. So I'm looking at Crochet Grove's pattern for horse. It'd be come out pretty big. So I don't know. I have a pattern for a unicorn already. I thought maybe I could just tweak it a little bit to make it a horse, because I mean, a unicorn is a horse just with a horn on its head, and give it more mane. But I don't know. I'll make that one and see how big it comes out, and then I'll ask him. I told him I'd send pictures and he could decide. Anyways, so that was my second sale. Even though he just literally came for that. He did do like a lap around, look at everything else, and then he left. It was just funny. He came straight to my table. It's really cool. But okay, and then also still between 10 and 11, I sold a Triceratop, because a little boy, a mom with another baby in a stroller, they were looking at stuff, and she was, letting him pick out something, and he picked up the Triceratop and stuck it in his mouth. He stuck the nose in the mouth, and she said, okay, that's the one we're getting. because he stuck it in his mouth. And I appreciate that because a lot of parents let their kids do stuff like that without buying it. But, so that was $25. And then the last thing that sold between 10 and 11 was a chicken for $18. It's one of the Stacy Makes chickens. A little girl picked it out. She was like June's age, 3 or 4, and she picked it out like immediately. I've noticed that a lot of times those chickens go to little girls like that or older women. So it's just funny, you know, that it's that way. And then between 11 and 12, I like to track the hours. I don't know why, I just do that. I sold a Brontosaurus for $18, a love cat, a black love cat for $15, a sea turtle for $20, and a jumping spider for $8. And then between 12 and 1, I sold one of my goblins. I thought that was so fun. Because I love those patterns and I like making them. So I like that someone bought it because now I can make another one for $20. And an axolotl, this is the same family, bought the goblin axolotl for $14 and an elephant for $10. It was a mom and 2 kids. And then I sold 2 more axolotls to a separate family for $28 each, you know, 28 together, $14. So this market I sold 3 axolotls. The last market I didn't sell any of those little axolotls, so it's just funny how that happens. Between 12 and 1 was really slow. I didn't make a sale until almost 2. Did I say 12 and 1? I meant 1 and 2. And right before, like a minute or 2 before 2, I sold a dragon, one of the bigger ones, for $18. And then between 3 and 4, I sold another dragon, and it was for $16. It was the slightly smaller Diddy Dex one. And then I sold my jumbo axolotl. I just made it this week. I sold one at my last market, and then I made one for this market, and it sold to a younger girl. She was maybe her late teens, early 20s, and that sold for $35. And then I sold 2 gummy bears to that girl's mom for $10. They were $5 each. And a Brontosaurus to that same family for $18. So that was everything that I sold at that market. I thought it did pretty good. We did buy a few things, but the money that we spent was money that we already had budgeted to spend, so it doesn't come out of my profits, if that makes sense. So we did buy $10 worth of 3D printed things for the kids. This 3D printer, it was called Wade 3D, had like a little shelf with a bunch of little cubbies in it of 3 for $5 things, little fidget animals. So we got June a frog, a giraffe, and a monkey. We got Jessie the star off of Mario, a little alien spaceship that clicks. It's a clicker, it's like a fidget, you know, click 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 thing. And a platypus. So it was $10.70. And they also gave us a sticker, so that was cool. And then Devin bought a $7 bottle of hot sauce from my older man at home makes it. And then we bought 2 cookies from the lady across from us, and they were so good. I still have some of mine because they were like big cookies. I ate half of mine at the market, and I still have like half of it left. Mine was a s'mores cookie. It was so good. And Devin got a peach cobbler cookie. But like I said, those expenses are coming out because it was money we already had set aside for this. And the only thing anyone asked me for, other than JD asking for a horse, was a lady asked if I had any sunflowers. And I'm assuming she means like the sunflowers on a stick, you know, that people do. And I don't really want to make those because it's like fiddly, you know, you gotta use smaller yarn and stuff. But I wrote it down anyways. Anytime anyone ever asks if I have something that I don't have, I always write it down just so it's like an idea for later, you know. But yeah, so 20 items. We technically were only there for 6 hours because it died between 3 and 4. So we set out all 3, and then when it got to 4, everybody around us started packing up. And I sat there and waited. I told Devin that I was waiting to see if everybody was going to pack up. And once everybody started moving and was packing up their stuff, that's when I decided to go ahead. Because we would have been the only people sitting there. So we did pack up and left. And we brought all of our stuff home. And I put most of it in the closet because my next market's in 2 months. So this is stuff I wouldn't fit in the closet. I got to figure out what to do with it. We went to pick up the kids and we got some pizza and came home. But I like this market because I like them when they end earlier in the evening so that we can still do stuff. The last market I did was the all-day one. I was out there for 12 hours, and by the time I got home, it was almost midnight. So it's nice when we have a little bit of time to, you know, do stuff. But yeah, so all in all, it was a good market. I gave the lady feedback that was hosting it, Catherine. She walked around and was talking to all the vendors afterwards, you know, just to see if there's anything that she could improve on and all that. But I think it was a really well hosted market, and it was really well advertised. the Facebook, what's it called, event had like 1,500 people interested in it. That's a lot. Usually when markets have that much in it, a lot of people show up. I think the only thing that kept people from, I think there's two things that kept a whole bunch of people from coming. One was the potential of storms, because it kept like saying it was going to storm and then it moved out and then saying it, and people probably just didn't want to get out in that. And two, there was another bigger event going on in the city park that was more in the central part of town. We were more on the outskirts of town, you know. So I think that that's the two factors. But I mean, I still made $329. If I divide that by 6 hours, it was like $58 an hour or something like that. No, it was 38, I think. $38 an hour. And that's still like a good wage, you know. I'm not complaining. I'm always happy when I make some money. You know, I don't have to make $1,000 every time to feel like it's worth it. Especially since I do most of my crafting for fun, and you know, I get to share it on the internet with my yarny friends, and then I get to sell it and make a little bit of money back to buy more yarn and do it all over again. So yeah, so this was pretty on par with my regular markets, my regular size markets, not the big festivals. I make usually between $300 and $500. That one market last year got rained out and I made $100, but you know, it got rained out. I was only there for like 2 hours, so it had potential to make more money. It rained. So I'm happy. I thought it was a good market. I mean, it'd have to be a really bad bust for me to be upset, or like all my stuff get destroyed because of something crazy happening before I get upset. So I'm pretty easy to please, and I had a fun time. It's always fun to sit around with my husband all day. Oh, I did a bunch of crocheting. Let me grab what I crocheted. This is the bag I took with me. It's the one that came in that tote of yarn I bought recently. It's still got my charger cord in it. My little hook bag. This is from Terry from Yarn Join Podcast. Me and her and a girl named Lee did a crochet along in 2021. That was Movie and Stitch. I got a whole playlist of it. And we made a project related to movies by alphabet, you know, and in alphabetical order. And she made us these bags afterwards. And this is my hook bag. That's the one that I'm using like all the time. If there's in there, it's the hooks and stuff I'm using. So before I left, I grabbed 3 balls of yarn. They were partially used balls. They were actually from the same, there's my cookie. They were from the same tote that I purchased. So there was, you know, big burnout blanket balls. And this is what was left. I crocheted a lot in between, you know, the flows. And I was crocheting a lot while people were standing there and people were talking to me about it, you know. Because it's always good for them to see you actually making the things. Because I'm always afraid people are just going to think that I'm a reseller. Because those exist. I don't know, I'm trying to get it all out without dropping the little pieces. I did a lot of crocheting. I didn't take any fiber fill with me. Because I knew I wasn't going to like finish things. I just wanted to like, you know, be busy. Alright, so while I was there, I crocheted 2 love cat bodies. They're completely ready to be stuffed and embroidered. So I made one of that rainbowy pastel color. And I made this brown one. So I made 2 love cats. I made 1 little octopus with that leftover because this was getting pretty small. And so I just made an octopus. And I don't think this is enough to make another octopus, but I can mix it with another color to make it, or something else. And then I made 4 dragons. So I made 2 of the blue dragon bodies, the DDXs. And I made 2 of that pastel color. That's their bodies. These are their heads. And these are their ears. There's 8 of them in there. So now they just need wings, and then obviously to be put together, and the top stitching horny things put on there. And then so I came home with these scrap balls. This was almost a full skein. This one was already like a floppy skein that someone had wrapped around itself, you know. And this one was a pretty full skein. Just used up a lot of yarn. I thought it was fun. I stopped because my hands was cramping. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to crochet in a few hours. But yeah, so I was happy. I was making money while making stuff to make more money with. And I think these dragons are so cute. I love this color yarn. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's a burnout blanket. This other one's a burnout baby blanket. That's why it's slightly smaller than the other one. But I love this color because it's very like watery looking to me. I think it'd be cool looking water animals. But yeah. And I only made 2 wolf cats because I didn't think the blue would be a good wolf cat. I don't know. But yeah, so that's everything I sold, how much I made, and everything I made at the market. And when I came home, I didn't do hardly anything. I did put up my inventory just to get it out of my hair. And then we pretty much laid around because I was tired because I've been sleeping bad because June has been sleeping bad for some reason. She's going through Sparta or something, I don't know. And then I had to get up early and do all the running around pre-market and then the market stuff, sitting all day. And my hip was hurting really bad. I messed up my hip when I had June because she came out so quickly, you know. She was a very fast labor. She just popped out. And they said it's because my body didn't really have time to like adjust the way it was supposed to before she just came out. So like my hip just randomly hurts sometimes, and yesterday it started hurting. So I was limping after the market. When we were going to get my kids and coming home and bringing everything in the house and all that stuff. So I was sore and I was tired. So me and Devin, we have a big sectional couch. We were laying this way, and June was laying in front of Devin, and then Jesse came in there and he wanted to lay with us too. So we have a big ottoman. We pushed it up so it kind of makes the couch into like a big bed, and he was laying on there. So we were all 4 just laying there, just chilling because me and Devin was tired. The kids were just, you know, loving on us. But yeah, so all in all, it was a good day. I'm so glad it didn't storm. I was so worried because I was watching the weather all week and it was calling for storms. And I was like, please let that move out because I need to go to this market, you know. And it moved out and it was a pretty day. There was a few instances where it got like gloomy, but it just blew over and never rained or anything. And they never closed the pool. So that's always a good sign. Because I know around here, if they see any lightning or hear any thunder, they close the pools. So there were people out there swimming all day. And I was like, man, I wish I could go out there. But and it wasn't crazy full either. The pool wasn't all day, and it was Saturday. So I told David, I was like, we need to come here and swim. It's like $6 a person, I think. The only negative about that particular community pool is it doesn't have like a little wadey area for little kids. It's just pool. It starts off at like 4 foot, I think, and goes down to deeper. But it's still fun. Anyways, that's it. I guess that's everything. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I hopefully popped up pictures of things that sold, and if you have any questions about like patterns or anything like that, let me know and I'll help you. And yeah, so today technically starts Shark Week. Today's the 20th, but my Shark Week, the videos I'm going to be sharing are going to be coming out on Monday, which is tomorrow. Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday are all Shark Week videos because Tuesday is my normal No Kitchen Name episode, and Friday is Christmas in July. I didn't get to do a Christmas in July this past week because I was just so busy dealing with family stuff that was happening, just drama. And not immediate family, just extended family. And prepping for the market, you know. So I didn't get to do one last week, but that's okay. And I'm going to do one this coming Friday, which is the 25th. So that's exactly 5 months before Christmas. So that's cool. I've also been working on bags. These will come out in the shop tomorrow. These are Christmas themed bags for Christmas in July. There's only 15 of them. And I only have a couple right here. There's some right down there. So here's a sneak peek. So there's some poinsettia ones. And this really cute Christmas one. This one's liner is inside out because I got to close it. I have to switch to red thread. The poinsettia ones have this liner. So all these Christmas bags have printed liners instead of solid color liners because I wanted them to be extra festive. So these are going to be Christmas drawstring bags in the shop tomorrow, Monday the 21st. Yeah. Just whenever. I'm not exactly sure what time I'm putting them in there. Whenever I get them in there is when they're going to be in there. But so like I said, there's 15. They're all drawstring bags and they're Christmassy. I was wanting to make some Christmas stitch markers, but unless I sat down and do that today, I won't get to because I procrastinated. But it's okay. Anyways, check that out if you want to, and I will see you again for another market recap way in October. My next market is October 11th, and it's a big one. It's the second big one. It's actually the biggest one. Last year at it, I made $1,500, so hopefully this year I'll make that or more. It would be great. I am planning on making a bunch of cows for that because people always ask for cows. And I want to make a bunch of the cryptids. So I have the Mothman. That's very popular. I've sold every single one I made. I have a Medusa pattern. I have the swamp monster from the Black Lagoon. I have a really cool looking vampire. It's like a realist, you know, it looks Nosferatu-y. I have the the Cthulhu jackalope would be really easy. It's a bunny with antlers. I want to make more stuff like that because that stuff seems to be really good sellers for me, and I think it's because all the crocheters around me make the viral things, you know, and having the different things makes you stand out, you know, especially amongst the younger, like Gen Zers, because they're all, you know, cool and hip and they're into that weird stuff. So they gravitate towards those types of things. But anyways, I'm just blabbing now. I'm gonna hop off here and try to get this edited. It's early right now. I woke up early because I got to go to bed early, which was nice, because June fell asleep early, which was nice also. But anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow for my first Shark Week video. And then I'll see you the rest of the week for videos. I have videos all week. And Wednesday starts 100 Days of Halloween. So I'm going to have daily videos, hopefully, through Halloween. Some of them may be super short. But I'm going to be doing Halloween projects. And I'm thinking about ordering some non-crochet Halloween crafts. There's a cross-stitch one. I haven't cross-stitched since I was like 12. And there's a felt one. I guess you sew it. I'm really thinking about ordering it from Hirschner's. I'm just trying to wait and see if they're going to send me like a free shipping code, because usually I get those like all the time from them. So I'm going to wait and see if they send me one. If they do, I'm going to order it because I really want them. But anyways, yeah, so I'm excited about this time of year because it's my favorite time of year. But I'm going to keep blabbing if I keep recording, so I need to hop off here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Shark Week. Bye guys.